And we're going to build on it, of course. And we're going to start on page 5, technically. I mean, that's where we're going to start our new work. I will mention, a real quick review or summary of where we came from, how we got here.
May I ask a question about, oh no, we handled that one. Okay, I've got a note on that. Okay.
Okay. All right. So in your practice, were you singing Shalom Aleichem before you started reading any little words?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine.
Was that part of the assignment?
Well, I just think it helps. If it's a song that you know by heart, or, honestly, singing something is an easier way to remember it than just trying to memorize words. I learned this. I don't remember from what, but when I learned this as a truism, a fact for people who are neuroscientists or whatever. And then, of course, you have children and you think, oh, well, that's why we teach them the alphabet song. That's why we teach them certain other songs to impart information that we want them to keep in their heads. So, for instance, my kids all learned a song that had all of the states in it by a song. I don't remember what you call that song, but I didn't learn that as a song in elementary school. And it became so much easier once it's a song. So when I went to teach my kids, when they were going off to kindergarten, their telephone number, I taught it to them as a song, and they could remember our telephone number. So, important tidbits like that. So, good morning, Connie.
Good morning. I can't get in on my computer. This is a real pain.
So are you on a phone or an iPad?
I'm on a phone, yeah.
Okay.
Well, so be it.
Okay, well, I hear you and see you just fine.
Here I am, and I hear and see you. I see no one else. But this is all right, I guess.
Well, we're having a little choppiness, but okay. Audrey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
It looks so beautiful there in Virginia again, Audrey.
Well, you are seeing a virtual background. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Here I was thinking that was your actual backyard. It looks
yes,
lovely.
I wish.
I know you guys were having some torrential rain, weren't you?
We did. Yesterday morning, it was crazy. So I was trying to drive to Maryland to get a haircut, and I'm actually wet right now, so forgive the look, but and I had to turn back because the rain was bad and the traffic was worse. But it's a glorious day today. It's really it's wonderful. So this is the best time. This is when DC has the best weather.
I agree.
So.
Fall and spring. You guys have a beautiful spring, but fall is gorgeous. Yeah.
But what you were saying before, I have heard on the radio more than once that stroke victims are able to sing things that they cannot say.
Right.
So it's really.
Right. And stutterers, I learned this, stutterers do much better off singing than trying to speak.
Yeah, Mel Tillis was a fine example of that. I don't know if any of you
I think I learned
remember
it from Joe Biden or something he wrote or said or whatever. So anyway, yeah, there's lots of little tricks. But so, all right, so I'm gonna do a real quick review. All right, so where we came from. We learned the letters Mem, which is the M sound, and Lamed, which is the L sound. And the reason we learned those was because we were targeting the word Melech, which means king. And then we learned this sound that doesn't exist in English, which is that CH or soft KH at the end of Melech. So, and we also learned that these letters, as all letters in the Hebrew alphabet, are consonants, and the vowels hang below them under the line to add sound. And so we learned the consonants. We learned the vowels, 3 first vowels, the 1 dot, which is E, it has a double E sound, the 2 dots horizontally, which have an A sound, and the 3 dots in a triangle, which is right? So, and for melech, we have the 3-dot triangle under the first letter, the M sound, and the middle letter, the L sound for melech. So, and the final letter is the final version of that letter, that ch. So it only looks that way when it's at the end of a word and it drops below the line and it has no vowel with it. So, and we're going to encounter that letter again in this lesson when it's not at the end of the word. It's going to take a different shape. So here we go on page 5. And that's where we're going to start with this letter that looks like a backwards C. It's a chaf, but that tells us it sounds ch, ch. So it sounds exactly like the final letter that we already learned, but it's shaped differently when it appears somewhere other than the last letter of the word. Okay, so at the top of page 5, our target word is malche. Everyone see it? It has the 2 arrows facing it. Okay, so it has 4 letters, right? The M, the L sound, so the mem, the lamed, and then the new letter, the backwards C, the chaf, and then the yud. So we know the mem and the lamed. We kind of know the chaf, but this is a new shape, and the yud is going to be brand new for us. The yud actually is the exception to what I've just told you, which is a consonant that is just a consonant. Well, a yud is actually a vowel. In Hebrew, the yud acts as a vowel. It's the only one that sits up here with all the other consonants, but actually acts as a vowel. So I broke the rule already, but this is just how the language goes.
Does
All
it
right?
Does it always act as a vowel?
Yes.
So
Yes.
How do you spell yeled then? What's the first letter in yeled?
Okay, you're getting way ahead.
Oh,
and
okay.
just because it acts as a vowel doesn't mean it's the only letter that's going to have that kind of sound. But anyway, it can be a vowel with a vowel under it too. So it can act as a vowel, but it is a consonant. So that's the kind of the crazy part of yeled. All right, so let's not go there.
No.
That's
You
really
answered
jumping.
my question. So it doesn't always act as a vowel, right?
I guess that's true. It's
Okay.
technically a consonant. It's going to act as a vowel here, but
Right.
it can also be in a word in its consonant form.
That's what I needed. Thanks.
Okay, fine. Boy, you're just challenging the teacher.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Just another lawyer.
I appreciate it. You know, keep me on my toes early in the day.
It's always except when it isn't.
That's it, right there.
Right.
And we all know that everything we learn. Good morning, Marjorie. Everything.
Sorry, I'm late.
Not to
There's
worry.
another Zoom
Everything
call.
we know with all of our Judaism, you get 3 rabbis in a room and we get more than 3 opinions, right?
At least 6.
At least 6, exactly. So that's where we are.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay,
I have
so
a question. You're talking about yud, but we're not at yud yet, or does yud appear on this page?
so on the top of page 5, okay, on the top of page 5 is the target
Oh, I
word.
see. Mhm,
The last letter of that target word is the letter yud.
mhm.
Okay, that
Okay.
little hand, it looks like maybe a fat top heavy apostrophe, right? It's hanging there at the top. That's the yud. Okay, but so let's and we know in the box the target or the letter that we're learning is the one on the right hand side, that backwards C. It sounds the same as the last letter we learned last week, and the asterisk for the box takes you down to the bottom and explains that the formation of that letter as the backwards C is in the beginning or the middle of the word, but when it's used at the end of the word, it takes that final form with that long tail hanging down. Okay, so let's jump right in. I think, okay, so lines 1 and 2, all they're showing us in lines 1 and 2.
Excuse me, what page are you on?
5.
5.
Okay, sorry.
lines 1 and 2, they're showing us the chaf, just that it sounds the same, whether it's written as the backwards C or whether it's written with the long tail, right? So all lines 1 and 2 tell us is that guttural sound is exactly what you get with each one of those letters represented, okay?
And it's always called a cough, even if it's the final.
Yes,
Okay, and then it has sofit, is that it, or something
well,
like
exactly.
that?
So the
Okay.
we call chaf sofit, right?
Sofit, okay,
Right, exactly, or final, right, yes. But, you know, the teacher's manual tells me I'm really not supposed to get into all of that. I'm just supposed to focus on the sound and you recognizing the shape. So I'm
Thank
trying to do that, but I appreciate that you guys can understand more and I'm happy to explain more. Okay, so the other thing that is that there are many opportunities in Hebrew where the same sound can be represented by different symbols. So for instance, let's look at the top of page 5 again and the word malche. So here the third letter, the chaf, with the 2 dots under it, if you put your finger over the yud, you ignore that there's a yud there, I would tell you to pronounce that che, okay? Now you take your finger away and you have the yud, I would tell you to pronounce it exactly the same way, che. No change from that yud being there, okay? Now, again, Hebrew is a phonetic language. As I said last week, there's these roots. So, and in Israel or for modern day users of the language, they don't even bother with the vowels. So that yud becomes very, very important. And it tells the reader, oftentimes, most times, I think, to find that, to use that A sound, especially if it's in the middle of the word. But for our purposes, what's important to know is that whether you had that yod or you didn't, you would pronounce this exactly the same. And there'll be many more opportunities for us to see that as we keep going. But it applies also to, there are a couple of letters that have a final form. So the mem, that first letter in malche, it has a final form. That looks different at the end of the word than at the beginning or the middle of the word. And we haven't come across that yet. There's a PH sound, a fe, and there's going to be a final version of that letter too. We'll come across it later. So there's also a tzadi and a final tzadi. So we'll get along with all of those, but it's most important that we learn the sounds associated with each of them, okay? And that's, then the recognition will come as we continue to practice. So let's start with line 3. And this is going to put our vowel with our new letter. And Barbara, will you start for us? Read line 3.
Chi, chi, che, 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 chi.
Perfect, beautiful. Line 4, Mary Ellen.
He, hey,
Yep,
he,
beautiful.
he, hey, 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 hey.
Perfect, very nice. Okay, Audrey, line 5.
Chili, chimi,
Mhm.
chimich,
Very
is that
nice.
right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Chilech,
Beautiful.
le, hich,
Try it. Go a little slower so I can hear it.
lechich.
Lechech.
Hey.
There's 2 dots.
Hey,
There's 2 dots,
yes.
right. You had the right idea. You just missed a dot. Perfect.
Right.
Yeah. And I apologize. That's a lot for your throat, but this lesson is a lot for all of our throats. Connie, will you unmute and read?
Lechei, 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 lechei.
Very good. That was amazing.
Yay.
You did great on that line. Sue, okay, we're gonna challenge you a little more. Sue, line 7.
Okay, that is a challenge. Milche, 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 milche.
Perfect, you got them all. Marjorie, line 8.
My favorite, meh. Okay, line 8. Melche.
Yes,
Sorry. Melche,
there you go.
melche, melche, melche.
Perfect. And see, what dawned on me there was you heard it in your ear and you thought, not quite A enough. And I'm going to really emphasize that A. And that's exactly right. And because you all recognize sounds here, that's what's going to help you. When you hear it out loud, your hearing is going to say to your mouth, oh, a little different here, a little more there. And that's going to come naturally. Barbara, line 9.
Melche,
Yeah.
melche, 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 melche.
Perfect.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I noticed that, I think it was Marjorie, when she was reading, what I would have said may, or like melche, she said melche. And are there accents in Hebrew, like north, south, Chicago, etc.?
Oh, well, there are actually, just because, so there used to be Ashkenazi and Sephardic.
Well, that's,
I remember those
And
days.
that was
Yeah.
very different in how they pronounced words, honestly. And if you look at a prayer book, they will tell you at the front of the prayer book what their pronunciation guide is. And so sometimes what I think is an ah, they say, well, we pronounce that oh, and I, for me it'd be ah, they'd be oh. So there is some of that. The biggest frustration is my oldest sister, she's 5 years older than I am. She very much remembers starting Hebrew school and being taught Ashkenazi.
Nazi.
And then a couple of years later, they told her, no, those are all wrong. This is how you do it. And this was a Sephardic teacher. Yeah. And she found it just ridiculous, completely impossible. Like, how can this be? It's the same darn language. So there is some of that. And there's also, those who are Chicagoans, we have Mary Ellen here, those who are East Coast people, particularly New Yorkers, there's certain annotations that are just, this is how you hear a sound. This is how you replicate that sound. So I'm not going to hold you guys to some perfect standard because I don't have it. And also, I'm not a fluent speaker of the language. I don't go to Israel frequently. So this is what I would call synagogue Hebrew, right? This is prayer book, shul Hebrew, that how I'm used to hearing it. And in most shuls that I attend and have attended for, 60 years, this is how they say it.
May I ask something?
Yes.
So line 6, for example, with the Lamed, it's been so long since I've tried doing this that I don't remember seeing a letter at the beginning of a word that didn't have a vowel. And we kind of instinctively know what to say, but is there really no vowel? First of all, is that a real word or is that just a sound?
That's just a sound. These are
Okay.
sounds. These are not words. Exactly.
If we had a real word, would there ever be a lamed at the beginning like that without a vowel?
I think that's very unlikely.
Okay, all right. And what about, I know we're going to get to it, but isn't there a vowel that might make the same sound as no vowel there?
Yes.
Okay,
Shah. We'll get to that.
yeah.
Yes. And
So we'll
that's a
get
very
to that, yeah.
complicated vowel, and we will get to that.
okay, great,
But-
thank you.
But, Lil Mode, Lo Made, Lila, all those are words that start with lamed, and they all start with a lamed and a vowel, right?
Right. So this
Uh-huh.
is just a very short sound. When
Yes, so these
yeah.
are not really words. For the
Yeah.
most part, the only words is the target
It's
word.
melech.
And the rest are really letter combinations to make us pronounce sounds.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so we're on line 10. And Audrey, I think I'm at you.
Okay. lachay, 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 lachay.
Exactly. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're going to turn the page to 6. And it tells us again, we're still working the top of the page. The arrow tells us target word we're trying to get to is malchay. And so now they're introducing us to this yud. So, and with the yud, they're introducing us with the vowel that sounds like an A, right? Personally, I would like to tell you the name of this vowel. It's the 2 dots next to each other on a horizontal line is tsare, but you don't need to remember that. But it sounds like an A, a long A sound, or they like to have it as in May, right? And what they're telling you in the box, on the left side, they have the yud with the A, and on the right side, they have just the 2 dot A sound. They will sound the same. So it's what I already explained, right? So let's start reading line 1, Connie.
Hey, 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 hey.
That was beautiful. You have a very good back of the throat sound. I love it. And the difference here obviously is the first 2 have the yud, the third has no yud. The next 2 have the yud, the last 2 have no yud. Doesn't change the sound any. Sue, will you read line 2?
Hey, lachay,
Mhm.
lachay, 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 chay.
Perfect. And again, the same thing. Sometimes there's the yud, sometimes it's not there. Doesn't change the sound any. Marjorie, will you read line 3?
lachay, 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 lachay. Oh,
Exactly. Perfect. Okay. So now line 4, this is an actual word. It's not our target word, but it is a real word. Barbara, will you read line 4?
Mi melech,
Mhm.
lachay, lachay, melech.
Exactly. So the first and the last words are actual words, right? And we get the first word by adding the mem with 1 dot under it to the regular word melech, which is the word at the end. Melech meaning king, okay? And our target for this prayer, melech just keeps coming up and coming up. Some version of melech is going to keep coming up. So line 5, Audrey, will you read? And let me just say here, these are not necessarily real words. These are the letters for the word melech or malchay, but he's messed up the vowels, so they're not real words anymore. They're just letters vowel combinations.
Okay. Melchay, melchay.
So meal, it's an
Meal,
E,
it's
right? So
long.
it's
Meal. Well, is it?
so there's 1 dot under the first letter, so that's the long E
Wait,
sound.
what line are we on?
5.
Oh, I was doing 6, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Milchay, 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 milchay.
Okay, so now do 6 for me.
Yeah, that's what I would. Milchay,
Exactly.
milchay, 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 milchay.
Exactly. And so that extra dot under that first letter makes a big difference.
It
And
sure
that's what
does.
we ran into here. Okay. And now line 7, Connie.
Melchay,
Okay, so let's slow down. So the 3 dots,
melchay,
slow down 1 minute, slow down.
Uh-huh.
So the 3 dots are different from the 2 dots. The 3 dots have a sound, E-H, like meh, okay? So when you add the meh to the lamed, mel, okay? Not may, but meh, okay?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
Was I doing it differently?
It sounded
No.
more like an A to me. And again, it could be, it could just be bad
Oh.
syncing or something, but I just wanted to point it out. So go ahead, read 8 for me.
8,
Line 8.
Melche. Uh-huh. Melche. Melech. Melech. Melche. Melech. Melche.
Very good. Very nice. Okay. Line 9, Sue.
Melche, mi melech, melche, mi melech, melche.
Very nice. Lovely. Okay. Marjorie, will you do line 10?
Lechi.
There's 2 dots under
Oh,
the,
there is. There's 2
yeah.
dots, so it's a long A, right?
yes. Yes.
Melche.
Yes.
Melche. 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 Melche.
So it's the in-between combination that's not the mem, right, is luche, I think. Luche.
Oh, you're right, it is. I'm not reading it correctly. Shall I
It's
do it
okay.
again?
It's
Shall
all
I
right.
do it again?
If you like.
No, not necessary.
Okay, so long
I
as you
understand my
recognize it.
mistake.
Just so long as you recognize it. Luche. Okay.
Yeah,
So
look,
now
of
we're
course.
gonna go to the top of page 7. And here, now that they've taught us all the parts to the word malche, we can hit our target word, and that's why they do the exclamation point. And they're also going to introduce us to a new vowel. So it's technically 2 vowels. They both sound the same. One is just a horizontal line, and one is a tiny little T. Okay. Again, they have names. The line is called a patach, and the T is called a kamatz, but they never tell you that in this book, I don't think anywhere. But they both sound like ah. But this is where in some prayer books, I think it's the kamatz. Let me think. One of them, when they put a dot with it, they wanted you to sound like O instead of ah, and that's their particular pronunciation. And that's not the case in this book. But in reading the front of a prayer book, I learned that. So that's one of those stylistic, or I don't know what to call it even, just it's a pronunciation tool and approach that is now prevalent in certain communities, I guess. So anyway, so we're going to keep going. We now know malche, and now we're going to learn the ah with all of the consonants that we know, and he will throw in some real words. So let's start with line 1. And Barbara, I think we're back to you.
Okay. Ma, 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 la, 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 la.
Perfect. Mary Ellen, line 2.
Mala, mala, lama, lama, lala, mama.
Perfect. Audrey, line 3.
Ma, 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 mal, mal, mal.
Yes. Connie, line 4.
Mal, 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 mal.
Perfect. And obviously you guys are seeing that sometimes it's a little T and sometimes it's just the line, same sound, and you're doing it perfectly. Sue, line 5.
Mal, 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 hey, hey, hey.
Beautiful. They didn't slip you up.
They tried.
Line 6, Marjorie.
Ma, mal, leche. Malche.
Mhm.
Malche.
Perfect. And there's our target word, malche. Perfect. All right. And now, Barbara, back to you. And these are more word-like.
Malche,
Yeah, so
malche.
can I stop you? Since that
Uh-huh.
line is all the same word, why don't you skip down and do 8?
Oh, but I knew 7.
You did it perfectly. I'm saving your throat, honestly, because if you keep doing all those, you're going to want a big glass of water.
Okay. Hey, 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 mala, no, mal,
Mal.
and malhe.
There you go. I saved you a couple of. So,
I appreciate it.
you're welcome. Okay, Mary Ellen, though, you're going to get the test on your throat here on line 9.
Okay. Malche, 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 melech, malche.
Perfect. Beautiful. Okay, Audrey, also, your throat's not going to love me. Do line 10.
Malche, melech, melech, malche, melech, malche.
Beautiful. Okay. Connie, will you do line 11?
Me, lech, me meh, me mele, lech.
Beautiful. Perfect. Excellent. Sue, line 12.
Malche, mi melech, malche, mi melech, malche.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. Okay, so you see the box at the bottom. That's just the explanation from the box at the top. And I didn't use the example of Shabbat, but we know what ah sounds like, so we're all good with that, right? All right, we're going to turn the page and go to line 8 and have a new target word. Melachim is the target word at the top with 2 arrows pointing to it. Melachim. So it's 5 letters. Oh, so here we know the first is the M sound we've already learned. The second is the lamed, the L sound. The third is the chet with that throat CH. We know the yud. The final letter here is the new letter.
And Sophie.
And it's the mem Sophie, exactly. So it's the same M sound, but when it appears at the end of the word, it takes on this different shape. Okay, and let's take a look at that shape for a minute. And I'm going to look at my chart. So, unlike the mem at the beginning of the word where it has that sort of humpback, this M, it really barely resembles that mem at all, right?
Right.
It's got a nice straight edge on the right-hand side. It's got a completely flat bottom. Okay, that's where it compares with the mem, the other mem. They both have a completely flat bottom. That's a very small similarity, frankly. On the left-hand side, it has a little curve, right, under where it touches its top bar. So it has that little, like a little cowlick of a hair sticking up on the upper left corner. And then it goes across and it rounds down the right-hand side. It goes all the way straight across the bottom. And then up the left-hand side, kind of curves back in and touches it again, right? So those are just little things you want to recognize about this letter. So when you see it, there's honestly no other letter to confuse with it. It's very distinct, which is a good thing. And particularly it being at the mem Sophie, always coming at the end of a word, I don't think you'll have trouble confusing it with anything else. But he's going to start throwing it in here. But remember, only at the end of a word. So it doesn't appear anywhere in our 10 lines of reading on page 8, but we're going to encounter it on page 9. And also here in the box at the top of page 8, we have that single dot, which is the double E sound, E, but now sometimes you got the yud with it. And just like with the A with the double dots, the yud isn't changing how it sounds. It's going to sound exactly the same. E, E, no difference here. I will tell you just so in passing, a single dot here vowel, that's called a chirik, and it has this double E sound. So anyway, let's get reading.
Can I ask you to repeat something I think you already talked about, but I missed?
Sure.
And that was the reason for the yud in front of the dot? Why
So
do they have both if it's the same sound?
I don't think I explained that, and I'm not sure I can explain it. I believe the reason it's there is, well, sometimes it's there because you're taking a word and changing it from singular to plural. Okay, that's not these cases, okay? But maybe he's preparing us for that we're going to start seeing it in those words because that will come up. Also, the way I look at it is when you see modern Hebrew without the vowels under it and you have the yud will usually tell you it's either that word is going to be pronounced with an A in it or an E in it. So it's standing in for those vowels. And if you know Hebrew well enough, just like with English, you start sight reading these words and you just recognize them. And if you know Hebrew well enough, in this case, I don't, but maybe it's like, I'll compare it a little bit to Spanish, where the feminine versus the masculine, the A ending or the O ending. Hebrew is very similar to that the feminine maybe having, I'm trying to think of an example, but the difference is just a single vowel, whether it's the feminine version of the word or the masculine version of the word. So again, something English doesn't have, but certainly Romance languages have it, and certainly Hebrew has it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll buy it.
Good questions. Okay, so here we were learning the vowel double E, a single dot, sometimes with and sometimes without the yud. Honestly, I don't remember where I ended, so I'm just gonna start with Sue, if that's okay. Line 1.
Me, 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 thee, thee, me.
Yes, exactly. Marjorie, line 2.
He, he, me, me.
Yes, perfect. Barbara, line 3.
He, yeah, he, Lee, he, me.
Me, he.
Sorry, yeah, me, he.
Yes, okay. Mary Ellen, line 4.
He, lahi.
So slow
Lahi.
down there. Slow down on the third one. Look at the vowel under the lamed.
That's a lahi. Oh, lahi.
Yeah. Yes, there you go.
Okay. Lahi, lahi, lahi.
There you go. You
Thanks.
corrected yourself. Okay. Audrey, line 5.
La, mala, lami, lahi, lahi.
Yes, very good. Okay. Connie, line 6.
He, lahi, lahi, mla, la, lahi.
Very good. Nice pronunciation. Sue, line 7.
He, lahi, lehi. Or is that a lot? I can't
It's a
tell.
lot.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's a lot also.
Yeah.
Malachi, malachi.
Very nice. Good. Marjorie, line 8.
He, malachi, he, malchi, no,
So,
not malchi, it's
so just do the sound. The first letter, then the second letter.
oh,
Except the lul has an ah under it. So do it one more time.
there we are. Malcha,
No, just mala.
malach,
Mala.
melach,
No, so the fourth technical, the word, it's just a 2-letter combination, would be mala. It's just the m and the l with the ah. So mala.
malah,
Mm-hmm.
he.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Now, your brain wants to make it into a word, I think, and that's the challenge of these letter combinations. They're not words. So It's a little challenging. Barbara, will you do line 9?
Melech, Malchei,
Mm-hmm.
Melachi,
Mm-hmm.
Melachi.
Perfect. Very good. Mary Ellen, line 10.
Mi melech, malchei, malchei,
Try that one again.
malach. Wait, hold on. Malchi.
Yes.
Okay. Malchi,
Well, so it's
No.
melach. It's melachi.
malachi. Okay.
Yeah,
Malachi, malachi.
exactly. Okay, good. We've got some real words thrown in, but we've also just got a whole lot of sounds. So, so at the bottom of the page where the arrow is, the word we're working on, melachim, and we're very close. And in Hebrew, the traditional syllable emphasis is in this case, in this word, it'd be melachim. So it's often the second or third syllable of a word. It's very rarely the beginning of the word. You don't put the emphasis at the very beginning of the word. You put it later in the word. So just pointing that out. Let's skip up to the top of page 9. And this is, so the target word melachim, and this is where I explained to you about the mem sophit. So we're not gonna go over it because I already talked about it, but we're gonna start reading it because here they are introducing that mem sophit. So line 1, I'm just gonna read it for you. They're all mems, right? There's no vowels under them. It's just telling you both of these shapes sound the same. So going down to line 2. Audrey, will you read line 2?
Mim, lim, pim, lam.
Very nice. Perfect. Connie, line 3.
Lem, lame,
Yes.
lam, no, lam,
Yes.
mame, mem.
Very nice. Good correction. Very good. Sue, line 4.
Mame, lame, chim, chim, chim.
Very good. You got them all. Marjorie, line 5.
Theme, theme,
Oh, this one's too boring. Okay, stop. That's yes, you're right. But now you're going to switch to line 6. That one's too easy.
oh dear, oh dear. Lachi,
Yes,
lachim,
perfect.
lech,
No, so the second
no, not
letter,
lech, it's just lech.
it's just la. It's just a L sound with
The
an
ma,
ah.
isn't it? It's the
It-
met thing, the triple dots.
Wait. Are you on line 6?
Yes, is that a triple dot underneath? It looks.
No, it's actually a little T.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh dear. Okay,
Yeah.
if it's a little T, then I definitely mispronounced it.
yeah, and that's the issue with this. Even my book, there are bad.
Okay, I've made it a little T,
Okay,
so that would be la,
yes,
and then it's chim,
yes.
malach,
So in this case, the mem has nothing under it, so you're just going to give it the consonant mem sound, the M plus the la.
malech,
So no, just make it mla, mla. Your
malach,
mouth will go from the M to the la, mla.
malach,
No ending sound either, just mla. It's really
Mla.
just, yeah, but now here we have the real word, the last word on line 6.
I'm having so much trouble combining the M and the L.
Just go
Um,
slow. So let yourself pronounce the M, right? So just keep your mouth closed, then go to the lamed.
Malachim.
Perfect.
Malachim.
That's it, malachim, that's it.
It's easier to say faster, I think.
Well, and we overthink it a little bit, I think, because it's so new and you're nervous about it. So it's malachim, that's it, okay?
Mhm.
Line 7. So Marjorie, why don't you do line 7? It's just 3 mistakes.
Malachim, malachim, malachim.
There you go, okay? Line 8, Barbara.
Malchi,
Slow down, look at the last letter and the vowel under it.
oh, Malche,
There you go.
Malachim, Melech, Malche,
Yes.
Malachim.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to read this one because these are similar but different enough. So Malche, Melachim, Melech, Malche, Melachim. You did them all just well, just perfectly. Mary Ellen, will you do 9?
Me melech, meleke,
Slow down, try again.
mel,
Look what's under the first letter.
malake,
Malche, exactly.
malke, malke,
Yeah.
malakim,
So again, it's close, but technically under the first letter, there's no vowel at all. So it's just going to be that mlachim.
So I thought previously I learned you just say the M and then the L and the, I'll call it the A sign together. So mala, no?
Exactly. Mala.
Ma-
Exactly.
Okay, so malakim.
Malachim.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
right.
all right.
So, and that's another reason why it makes sense that the emphasis isn't on the first syllable because that has no vowel there, right? So no, it's gonna bring us into the second one where we are gonna put our emphasis, malachim, okay?
Okay.
Okay, line 10, Audrey?
Me melech, me melech,
Yeah, they're all the same, those two. Yeah.
okay, malche, malachim.
Yes, so you did them perfectly, but I'll repeat them a little smoother, but you were perfect. Mi melech, malche, malachim. Okay, excellent, you guys got it. All right,
What does Melachi mean?
Lots of kings.
multiple kings,
Yeah.
the plural,
Also,
okay?
In Hebrew, do they really have an exclamation point?
I imagine that they do, but I don't know.
I was
Honestly,
wondering, and
yeah.
they probably also have question marks too, right?
They do have question marks, they absolutely
Okay.
have question marks.
Okay,
Those
so
I
I
have,
guess
those
are-
definitely.
How
Those are
could,
kind of
how
universal.
could Hebrew not have question marks when we
No,
ask
no,
so
but
many
the
questions?
question is their question mark look like our question mark? It's really, so.
I imagine it does. I mean, certainly. So I know how to write Hebrew in script form. And so I write a question mark just like I would write a question mark in English. The script of Hebrew does not look like this typed version of Hebrew.
Right,
So we're not going to get into that. That is not part of this class.
but
Thank
does it happen in
goodness.
the advanced class? Do you learn script?
No, there's no writing involved. None of the
Okay.
women's league classes are all about reading.
In Shul.
And yeah, right. And what you might, perhaps I'll get into but the Torah is written exactly the way the prayer book is written. So it's the same. So, okay. So let's look at page 10. And our target word at the top is hamlachim, 6 letters. We know 5 of them. And the new letter is the very first one, the hey at the beginning of that word. So it's in the box, that's a hey, it has a H sound, pure H sound. And let's see if I can come up with something. So if you look at the hey, So it starts out with what I call that cowlick up in the upper left corner, right? And then it goes horizontally across, then it curves and goes down. And it's like standing on its tiptoe. And then you look at the other piece of it on the left, the short little half a leg standing on its tiptoe, right? That half a leg does not attach to the top of the hay. That's very important because there are other letters you're going to learn where it does touch the top. And when it touches the top, it's a completely different letter. Okay, so this open one, the little cheat sheet I have says, think of it as a half a line. So you have that half, or even think of it as there's a hole there. Both half and whole start with an H, right? So that's going to remind you this is a letter H. If it has a half a line or it has a hole at the top between the line and the top, it sounds like an H. Okay.
One more, the little cowlick, is that just a matter of the typeface or is that essential?
I think that's essential. I've never seen a Hebrew. I've never seen typefaces that don't have those. So.
Okay, because if I were printing it on a blackboard, would I need to put in the little cowlick? Because I seem to remember from ancient times that I didn't. That's why I was asking.
Well, so when I write a hey, again, I write cursive and I write, so no, I don't put the cowlick, and I just make this sort of curved thing that comes to a stop and then another piece that goes next to it. So yeah, it's not essential, but you're always going to, in this typeface, you're always going to see these cowlicks.
Yeah, no, I like them because they do help. And so, at some point, you mentioned in the last class, you could type in Hebrew.
Yeah.
And at some point, if we have 5 extra minutes, could you tell us how you do that and where you get it and all that?
Well, I know how to do it on a Mac. I don't have a PC, so I don't know if I can, but you could look it up. But essentially what it is I assume a PC has this too, that you're switching your keyboard to the Hebrew text alphabet, and then you're typing. So that's really the only thing you have to tell your computer. Hey, keyboard, pretend you're now Hebrew keyboard, Hebrew letters. And it's a little tricky. It takes getting used to because it also switches you going from left to right, right to left. But you'll see in the homework I'll send you that I find it much easier, particularly because I don't want to give you phonetics. That this is not a class in how to read Hebrew via phonetics. It's a class in how to read Hebrew letters. So at any rate, all right, let's jump into page 10. But let me explain. I didn't tell you what it tells us at the box at the bottom of the page, that a hey is always sounded at the beginning or in the middle of the word. So in other words, hey, the sound, that H sound, right? When you see it at the beginning, you're always going to sound it. When you see it in the middle, you're always going to sound it. But like an E in English, sometimes an E at the end of the word doesn't add anything, right? An H at the end of the word is usually silent in Hebrew. So that's important to know. But this page 10, these 10 lines, I think he only has hays at the beginning. So it'll be pretty quick and dirty. So I'm going to read line 1 for you because it's a little too simple, right? He, hey, he. Line 2. Connie, I think I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Line 2.
He, hey,
Slow, go back to the 4th one. Read the 4th one again. There you go.
Hey,
Very good. Perfect. Sue, will you read line 3?
Hey.
Slow down. So line 3.
I can't, it's hard to read this.
I know. So that is a single horizontal line under the 3rd and the 4th hey. So it's just a little line, a short little horizontal line.
Is that a ha?
It's a ha.
Ha. Wait a minute now. That's ha, ha, ha.
It is ha ha ha. That's all it is. You got it. They did not fool you. You figured it out. Okay. Marjorie, line 4.
Okay, before I start, the mem, what's under it, please?
Okay, so the third word where the mem is,
Yeah.
it's a single horizontal line.
Okay,
And in fact, the first, you've got single horizontal lines until the second to last, where the
Okay.
mem has 2 dots, and the last, the mem has 3 dots.
okay. Ha, la, hala, ha, ha,
Mm-hmm,
ha, ma,
mm-hmm.
ha,
Yep, hum, that's right,
Yeah.
hum,
ha, me, ha, mech.
hammeh. Yep, that's it. These are pretty straightforward, but they're trying to, they're just trying to get us to recognize these slight differences. Barbara, line 5.
Pim.
No, try it. So under the hay is a
Oh, I'm
single
sorry. Yeah,
line.
doing the same thing. Ham.
Under the mem is an upside down triangle of dots.
In line 6.
On line 5.
Oh, I really thought you said line 6. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Hime.
Hameh.
Hame.
You
Right.
see the line? It's a line,
Yeah.
not a dot.
Mhm. Okay. Hamel. Hamel le.
Hamela, exactly.
Yeah, for the second one. Hamele. Hamelech
Mm-hmm.
and Hameh.
Exactly. So the third combination here in line 5, Hamelech, that means the king. That's a real word. Okay. Line 6, Mary Ellen.
Ham,
Mm-hmm.
Hamel,
Mm-hmm.
no, not Hamala.
So yes and no. So in
Okay.
this case, because there's nothing under the mem, the middle one, I would be a contraction hamla.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can, again, this is not a real word. It's not going to you're not going to find this. And it's not uncommon where someone would pronounce the M with a little to it, which is what you did. But that assumes there's a shva, 2 dots under it that we haven't learned yet. So we're not going there. So
Okay.
in this case, it'd be hamla.
Okay. Hamla. Hamlaki.
Yep.
Hamalaki.
Do that one more time.
Hamalaki.
So now now pronounce the first 2 letters together before you get to the la.
Ham.
Yes.
Hamlaki.
Hamlachi.
Hamlaki.
Exactly. Hamlachi. Right. Again, it's not a real word.
I know, it's throwing me off.
Exactly. It's tricky. Okay.
Okay.
Audrey, line 7.
Hamlachi.
Yeah.
Hamlachi. Hamlachim. Him. Hamlachim.
Exactly. Hamlachim. So here, by putting the yud and the mem on a word hamelech, for instance, or we're now turning it into plural. Hamlachim, the kings. Okay. Line 8, Connie.
Malche,
Mhm.
Hamlechim,
Hamlach.
Hamlachim,
Yes.
Hamlachim,
Beautiful. Perfect.
Hamlachim.
Yes, exactly. So, and here you can really see the relationship between the word melech and malchei and hamelech and hamlachim. So you have melech, the king, king, the kings. So the root here is the mem lamed chei. I'm sorry, the mem lamed chaf. And you change the vowels, you add a little something at the front, you add a little something at the back, and you've built the word into meaning something greater. Okay. Sue, I think we're at line 9.
Melech, Malche, Hamlachim.
Perfect. Beautiful. Marjorie, line 10.
Mimelech.
Yes,
Mimelech.
perfect.
Malchei.
Yeah,
Hamlechim.
hamlachim. Yes. All right, ladies, excellent. So it is
I
10
have a
o'clock.
question. I have a question back in line 5 when it's Himelech, the king,
Hamelach.
Hamelech, right? Do they does Hebrew not separate the two words the and king?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
It does not. And I'm really not supposed to be kind of going into spending time on, translations and meanings and grammar and plural and singular. That is a more advanced class, but I'm throwing it in a little bit because you guys are very curious and I'm just trying to do it as we pass by and not spend too much time on it. Okay. So unit 2, well, let's talk. Page 11 has a nice review at the top of the page. Most importantly, I need to tell you, I am not available next Friday. I apologize. I hate to not be here 3 weeks into the class, but I made this, a long time ago. I had no idea they were changing the time of my class from, I've been teaching at noon Central Time, and they switched it to this time without asking me, actually.
Oh.
But that's okay. I was they're like, oh, we hope you're available, and I am. But I can't be here next Friday. So I'm gonna send you the link for the last link is already posted. This new link, I'm imagining will be posted by about Tuesday. But I'm gonna send you how to find it by signing into the Women's League website and where to go to look for it. And I may also send you a quick homework of review, just to summarize, because we're missing a bunch of people today, and it'll be good for all of us to just be on the same place. So I'll send an email with that summary. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
That would be great.
So are
I-
you
And I
saying-
would
are
have
you
missed that
saying in
class
two-
anyway, so yay.
In 2 weeks, when we come back, we're gonna start on page 11?
We are absolutely
Okay,
going to
just
start
wanna
on
make
page
sure.
11.
Okay,
Right. You don't have to learn anything by yourself, but you do need to practice 20 minutes every day. Keep practicing.
okay.
Okay. And
And we're
frankly,
practicing just what we've done so far. We're not
just what
going.
you've done. So,
forward.
right. My suggestion would be to start by singing, if you know it, Shalom Aleichem. At least the first 2 lines. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amachim HaKadosh Baruch. So if you practice those 2 full lines every time before you start reading, your reading will be better because you know how to say those words. Your brain and your mouth and your ears recognize those words. And these letter combinations, because there's more letter combinations than there are words, are parts of what you just sung. Okay. So 20 minutes a day. And, you can look at the top of page 11 just for this review expansion, but I'll probably put that in my homework email or my summary email because there it is. Everything we've done so far is in the box on the top of page 11. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Again, I'm so sorry I'm going to miss the class. I did not miss a single class last semester or in the summer. So, but will be fine. We'll just get right back to it when we meet again.
We're gonna be-
Okay, so it's October 8th, Rachel, then? The next
It
class
is
would be-
October 8th.
Okay.
Yes. Let me make sure. Because next time is the
It is
first.
the 8th. It
Yep,
is
it is the 8th,
Wednesday is
absolutely.
the 6th.
Yep, it is the 8th.
Thank
Alrighty.
you very much.
Thank you.
And if you
Thank
have
you.
questions,
Thank you.
don't hesitate to email me. I can help you. I can find a time to talk to you or whatever. So don't struggle and say, I'm terrible, I can't do this and give up. Email me, okay? Okay,
Thank you.
Thank
all
you.
right.